Good morning, friends. I'm Teacher Chris, and welcome back to the Lower School Good News. You're in luck. We have a special episode of the Good News today. We'll start with our thought of the day, move on to birthdays, and then a special interview with our local herpetologist to learn about snakes in Delaware. Here's our thought of the day. Be kind, even on your bad days. Thanks, friends. Here's Bruna with the birthdays for the week.
I'm Bruna with the birthdays. Here are our birthdays from Monday, October 11th through Sunday, October 17th. Yesterday, Cleo in 5th grade celebrated her 11th birthday. Ghibli Ray in pre-K turned 5 years old, and Annabelle in 3rd grade turned 9. Teacher Kate also celebrated her birthday yesterday. On Friday, Luke in 1st grade will be turning 7 years old, and Ivory in 2nd grade will be turning 8. Our 4th graders, Catalina and Hayden, are both celebrating their 10th birthday on Friday. Happy birthday, friends. We wish you a wonderful year ahead.
Hello, I'm Gabby. Happy birthday, friends. Here's the birthday song with Teacher Katie, Mr. Very, Teacher Nicolette, and the beautiful voice of Teacher Emily. Feel free to sing along.
Wilmington Friends Lower School. I'm Julie Radowski, head of Lower School. And can you introduce yourself and tell us what you do?
Yeah, my name's Nate Nastrovich, and I am the herpetologist for the state of Delaware.
And what does that mean?
Well, that means I study reptiles and amphibians.
Gosh, and what kind of reptiles and amphibians do you find in Delaware?
Well, actually, Delaware has 73 species of amphibians and reptiles, so there is a good diversity in our state.
A ton. Well, thank you, and thanks for answering our questions about snakes here
Absolutely.
on our campus. Great, so we'll start.
Where do snakes live?
Well, snakes live in habitats that provide their essential resources, which are food, water, and shelter. So snakes can live in a variety of habitats. Some live in the forest, others live near water, ponds, lakes, and streams. Other snakes may live in open habitats such as fields.
Why are copperheads called copperheads?
Copperheads are called copperheads because of their coloration. They are a species that relies heavily on camouflage, and they camouflage really well in dried oak leaves. And that coloration that they have has a coppery appearance, and their head in particular is very coppery colored.
What should we do if we see a snake?
Well, if you see a snake, what first you should do is try to identify what it is. You want to be careful, especially on your campus here, because you do have copperheads. So you want to, in an instance where you see a copperhead, you don't want to get too close. You don't want to mess with really any snake, because they do have the potential to bite. So that's probably the best thing would be to just, you don't have to, you can look at it. There's no reason why you can't look at it. You don't have to run away, but you want to keep your distance. Probably about 6 feet would be good, just like social distancing. Would be a good distance also to stay away from a snake if you see one.
Do snakes get along with other snakes?
They can. Snakes of the same species could certainly get along with each other, but some snakes are actually predators of other snakes. So some snakes will eat other snakes. So it really just depends on the situation that snakes are in. But snakes, for the most part, are not very territorial. So they don't defend territories or chase other snakes away. If the other snakes are nearby, they either pay them no mind, but if they're a predator, they could potentially eat them.
Do snakes hibernate like other animals?
So snakes don't hibernate the way mammals hibernate. Mammals go through a process that shuts down their metabolism, and they go kind of into a deep sleep. Snakes, on the other hand, are regulated by the surrounding air temperature. So rather than hibernating like a bear would, snakes, when it gets cold outside, that essentially just slows their body down. So they go into more of what we would call a torpor. And it's regulated by the outside temperature. So on warm days in the winter, say in January, we might get a day that hits 60 degrees. Snakes would become active again because their body, as long as their body is warm enough to move around.
Cool. Why do snakes bite?
Well, snakes bite because it's a defense mechanism. When their mouth essentially is the only way that they can defend themselves. So if an animal that they don't like gets too close to them, they can use their mouth as a way to hurt that animal to get it to defend itself, essentially.
How do snakes get venom in their teeth?
So snakes have a specialized gland on the side of their head. It's called the Duvernord's gland, and that's what produces the venom. The venom is essentially a modified type of saliva, and pit vipers, which copperheads are, have fangs towards the front of their mouth that, when their mouth is closed, are swung backwards. When they open their mouth to strike, those fangs swing forward in order to inject venom into the prey. Those teeth are modified that have a hole that goes through the center of that tooth, so their muscles can squeeze that gland and push venom out through the tooth.
Thank you.
Why are copperheads called copperheads?
Copperheads are called copperheads because of their coloration. They are a species that relies heavily on camouflage, and they camouflage really well in dried oak leaves. And that coloration that they have has a coppery appearance, and their head in particular is very coppery colored.
How venomous are copperheads?
So copperhead venom is actually very mild. And among all of our pit vipers found in North America, it is the least venomous of those snakes. So pit vipers would include the eastern cottonmouth, as well as all the rattlesnake species that we have. So the copperhead venom, comparatively, is the weakest of that group. However, it's still a dangerous snake. If a human were to be bit by a copperhead, rarely would it lead to death, unless it's a very old individual or someone who is immunocompromised. Deaths rarely occur from copperhead bites in the United States.
Cool. Why are snakes good for the world?
Well, snakes are good for the world because they're part of the ecosystem. They're part of the food web, and snakes are predators, so they're going to help control populations of other species. So, for example, many species of snakes feed on mice. If mice go unchecked in the environment, there's nothing there to keep their population low, there'd be many mice running around. But mice are vectors of disease, and some of those diseases are harmful or even deadly to humans. So it's good to have snakes around to help keep the mouse population in check.
We hope you enjoyed our special episode of The Good News. Special thanks goes out to 5th graders Michael, Harrison, Emily, and Addie, teacher Julie, and special guest Nate Nastrovich. We hope you enjoyed listening and have a great week.